Hi everyone, hola, pares. Welcome to Tea Talk, where we have tea and talk. My name is Jenna, I'm the hostess, and this is my friend over here.
Hi everybody, my name is Gabeeg the monkey.
Gabeeg, I'm so glad that you agreed to join me to co-host this show.
Yeah, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
So, what should we talk about today?
Why is it that if God is so loving and caring, why is there so much evil in the world?
Yeah, that's a good question, Gabeeg.
12 seconds later.
I'm thinking about this. You know, this is a really philosophical question, man. Why did you have to hit me with this one? It's a good one, but it's a lot. There's a lot to unpack here, man.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. It's just that was weighing on my mind.
No, I'm glad that you asked it, but hold up. Okay, we're talking about evil here. First off, can you explain to me what you mean by evil?
Oh, when I say evil, I mean bad things like the Armenian genocide, racism, and people just fighting and being mean to each other. There's just a lot of hate in the world. I consider those evil.
Yeah, that is evil. If there is evil in the world, are you also assuming that there is something called good in this world?
Why, yes. In fact, my mother's cookies are good. And I also think that the Red Sox are good.
Well, I mean, that's your opinion, but yeah, so basically, there is good and there's evil. Do you think there's a way for us to decide between what's good and evil?
Well, yeah. I mean, there are rules, you know. Rules help us to decide what is good and what's evil.
Can you explain more? Like, how do we get those rules?
Well, in order to have rules, I think of a teacher in a classroom.
Teacher creates the rules for the classroom, and students will either have good behavior and follow those rules, or students might have bad behavior. They might disobey those rules, like in this picture here.
Okay. I'm trying to understand better.
Let's assume that in the world we have good and evil. Okay, in order for good and evil to exist, then we need to assume that there are rules like classroom rules or a moral law. The rules in moral law is what helps us to decide between what's good and what's bad. In order for rules to exist, there needs to be somebody who created them. So we can think of the teacher as the rule maker, and we can think of God as the moral lawmaker, the one who makes the rules in the universe.
This reminds me of something really important that C.S. Lewis once said. Have you ever heard of him?
Oh, C.S. Lewis! Didn't he write the Chronicles of Narnia?
Yeah, rock on! High five! Okay, it's hard to high five because you're a stuffed animal, but there you go. Yeah, so you do know him.
Yeah, so what did he say?
Well, he said that there are two kinds of people in this world. Here, I'm gonna show you an illustration.
C.S. Lewis said there are two kinds of people in this world. Those who bend their knee to God and say to him, "Your will be done," or those who refuse to bend their knee to God and God says to them, "Your will be done." In order to better understand what C.S. Lewis was talking about here, let's revisit the Garden of Eden where Adam and Eve made their choice.
Be careful what you choose.
What do you mean?
Has God indeed said, "You shall not eat of every tree of the garden"?
We may eat the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, "You shall not eat it, nor shall you touch it, lest you die."
You surely will not die. For God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened,
Yo, don't listen to him.
and you will be like God, knowing good and evil.
Seriously, that does look delicious. What would I do?
Temptation City.
She's
going in.
You've touched the fruit, and you did not die.
Oh, going in for the kill. Yikes, Eve.
What's the matter?
I feel everything.
God told us not to.
I know, Adam. I know.
Yep.
So in the beginning, God created a perfect world, but he also gave human beings something called free will. And free will is a choice. We can choose to obey God, or we can choose to do whatever we want. And here are some of the consequences of free will when people decide to bend away from God and do what they want. Our world has sickness. Our world has natural disasters. And our world has fighting, and people just don't get along. This all stems back to the Garden of Eden, when Adam and Eve made the choice to not listen to God and to do what they wanted.
Yeah, I know, Gabeeg. I'm sorry. Well, let's look at the bright side.
There's good in this world too, right?
Ooh, yes, and I'm reminded to be kind and compassionate to others, like what St. Paul wrote to the Ephesians.
Gabi, good point. Let's turn this to the boys and girls now. Boys and girls, how can you be kind and compassionate? Oh, you dropped your hat. Woohoo! Tune in next time.